Hello folks, nothing fancy today, just functional. Taking a look at some cheapo G.I. Joe classified stands that I picked up on eBay. I grabbed a bag of 50 of them and there's not quite 50 in there anymore because I've been busy with getting these guys to stand tall and sturdy, except for this guy who doesn't have one yet, and that guy who doesn't have one yet. So these, you can pick them up for under 20 bucks. I've seen them, the seller I bought them from is out of stock at the moment, but lots of other people are selling ones exactly like this. You can get them for about $18 or $19 US. The copyright on the other side of it says Figures Lab Action Figure Stand, and I went with this stand in particular because unlike the vintage G.I. Joe stands, these have two posts on them. So you can either have double the stability, and it looks like for different figures the hole placement is on different parts of the foot. G.I. Joe Classifieds generally, like the original Real American Hero Joes, have them in the heel. Star Wars Black Series have them at the front of the foot. And luckily, Star Wars Black and G.I. Joe Classified are compatible. It can be a little bit of a stiff fit, so you need to just well, the first thing is you need to not have OCD, because if you do, you might be a little concerned about maybe wearing that hole out a little bit. See a little bit of stress marks I've just put in there. So if you are fine with that, you can, with quite a bit of force apparently, get these to fit a Star Wars Black Series figure, and that makes a big difference. So the nice thing about the two posts is that it's extra sturdy, and then you have the option to just have one foot in there, and now you can really take advantage of the superposability of these 6-inch figures, the lunging and the bending. Amazing ankle pivot that this particular Mandalorian figure has. So he's still pretty sturdy. Or let's try a Cobra Commander here. Turn it the other way since his holes are on the other side. And I think this plastic is a little more bendy. It's pretty stiff as well, but feels a little easier to twist it onto there. Seems to me like the tolerances are different on all these different figures, because some of these Joe figures I've already done. Pop right on there, super easy. Should be easier when you take it off to put it back on. And some of these classified figures are especially hard to stand up thanks to kind of gummy joints. You can see him kind of leaning forward there, but he's super sturdy. Now you can just kind of futz. Try to get him to stand up straight and tall, which Cobra Commander rarely does because he's a craven coward. Go like that, or again, you can, well, this is a pose that's more natural for Cobra Commander, running away. Bend the knee a little bit. This is what's really impressive. I noticed this when I was doing the Alf video just recently, the NECA Alf. These are especially great for running poses. I'm actually surprised at how much stability you can get from this tiny little connection point down here. The ankles on them are strong enough that you get some really nice action poses, maybe even a Neo Matrix type of thing. Now the trick for that is you can turn that the long way, and now you can, I mean, there's limits to how far you can limbo, but being able to turn the stand any which way you want can make a big difference. Now you want to display the figure. Works with wrestling figures as well. This is the Ultimate, Mattel Ultimate Sergeant Slaughter. So looks like a Joe. He's in the Mail Away Joe outfit, but he is a Mattel wrestling figure, and hole tolerances on this one are a little wider. This was easier to fit on there. Doesn't take much force to get that on there. Not as much as the Mandalorian figure did. And you got gummy guys like Beachhead. Does okay standing without a stand, but as soon as you give him a stand, you can really get into those deep lunging poses. Yeah, that's fantastic. Especially nice to be able to just turn the stand any which way you need to in order to disperse the weight properly. And now you're cooking. Getting some really nice dynamic action poses that wouldn't be possible without this cheap bag of stands. And in terms of compatibility for other toy lines, here's an original Real Ghostbusters Egon Spengler. So I had stretched out one of the holes on this Egon's feet with just a G.I. Joe stand, and now you can see it's just too loose to hold now because I stretched it out with the Joe stand. The other one is untouched. This is the original size, and it actually fits perfectly. Doesn't feel like the plastic's being stretched out there or damaged. It's an original Kenner foot post. And unfortunately, a lot of the time when you're using these vintage figures, you won't be able to use both of the pegs. It's not a big deal. It's just leave it there or snip it off if it bothers you that much. But there is a Real Ghostbusters Egon figure who's nice and sturdy now. And Kenner Aliens Bishop. And I've never given these much attention. Never thought much of these Aliens 90s figures, but I opened some of them up recently. And that's where the magic is. They're much better when you actually open them up than keeping them in on package. But anyway, another 90s Kenner figure and perfect fit. Same deal. Can't fit both of the posts, but this guy would not stand very sturdy on his own because of his big gun. It's kind of wobbly. Pop that on there and it looks a little better. So there you go. Affordable way to ensure that your figures don't do the big plummet off the shelf. Especially useful for vintage figures, which might be worth quite a bit more than what you originally paid for them. Just take a look on eBay for G.I. Joe classified stands, and I just took a peek, and there aren't actually very many that are called G.I. Joe classified stands auctions. Most of them are listed as Star Wars Black Series stands. But you can get them in all sorts of different quantities. So if you don't need 50, some of the sellers are selling just 20 of them or 10 of them or 5 of them. Whatever you need. I went with the 50 because quite a few classified figures and quite a few of them need to be sturdy, and then just the extra bonus of them working with some vintage figures as well. Never have to deal with, oh, look at this, a wobble knocking a whole shelf of figures over and dominoes all of a sudden. So I really like that they're also useful for some other more vintage figures as well. Hope that helps. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, Nerdmas Day.